Hello, this is Angelo with the 20th episode of the Army of You challenge. So, I can still remember how mesmerized I was as a little kid when I saw a Swiss Army knife for the very first time. I thought, this is amazing. What an amazing feat of engineering. What an amazing thing to have. If I had one, I would always carry it with me. And a few years later, I actually got one. And I always had it with me for years as my keychain. Now, I no longer carry with me a Swiss Army knife, but I always have with me a tool, a self-made tool that is much more powerful. I call it, and I came up with the term a few days ago as I was preparing for this video. I call it the Greek emotional knife. And what it is a set of exercises that help me elevate my emotional state every time I need it. So, every time something brings me down, or every time that I consciously realize that my emotional state is not where I want it to be, I immediately use as many of these exercises as I need. Because I know that the better I feel, the better I perform. And the better I perform, the closer to my super self and my destination I get. So, exercise number one. And I'm going to use for these exercises a demanding situation of mine. The fact that about 2.5 months ago, I had an Achilles tendon rupture, which is a demanding injury, right? It required an operation, and the recovery is going to be about 6 months. And of course, for weeks I was with a cast and then with a boot, and then I had to learn, how to use the crutches, and I was basically not moving at all for weeks. I was avoiding any kind of motion. So, what I brought in my mind as soon as possible to elevate my emotional state with perspective was something that I believe was said by Michael Jordan, which is that when I was a young kid, I was complaining that I didn't have like the best basketball shoes and so on, until I saw a person with no legs. And that it immediately shifted my perspective. So, in the same manner, I was telling myself, you still have like 2 legs, 2 feet, 10 toes, and so on. Just give it time, and you will get better and you will feel better and so on. But, of course, this is also just the beginning, because then the second exercise is forgiveness. And I had to forgive basically and mostly myself, because I was trying, like to bring myself down with thoughts like, you could have avoided this, and maybe if you were eating a bit better, or if you were exercising a bit more, or if you were more careful, or if you had like a few MRI scans, in your feet, make sure everything is okay, and things like that. The mind will always create drama. So you always want to remember that every time something needs to be forgiven, you do it not necessarily because the person who did this to you deserves forgiveness, but because you deserve this emotional elevation, this emotional peace. So, again, this is just step two. And I had to go much deeper and much higher, basically, with gratitude. And I made a list, and always with gratitude. Of course, you can, like think of things you're grateful for, or just out loud, like speak like 10, 20 things that you're grateful for. But what works best is to actually write, with a pen or pencil, 10 or 20 things that you're grateful for, because since your writing is slower, you're much more conscious of what you're writing. This is the game changer, let's say, with gratitude. So I was making lists and lists of all these things that I am grateful for, like my friends, my family, everyone that, rushed to help me with in so many ways. And of course, like the doctors and the nurses and everyone that became part of my recovery. And then again, I could go even higher with love and bring myself to a state of self-love and remind myself that no matter what is going on in my life, I can begin from the point of unconditional self-love. And with that in mind, I can immediately put myself in an amazing emotional state because I cannot change my circumstances right now. I'm still hurting a bit, I'm still limping a bit, and it will take time. But my emotional state I can bring it back to an amazing state within minutes, within seconds maybe. And I've always, in one like little corner in my mind, I always have this amazing quote from Bob Proctor. I heard it at a seminar. And he said, at some point in my life, I reached that point where I no longer have like bad days and bad weeks and bad months. I just have like bad hours or maybe bad minutes and bad seconds. Meaning, when you realize that your emotional state governs the quality of your life, because it is the happiness that you want to feel right now, the love and the gratitude that you want to feel right now, now is all you've got. And this is like when you reach that point, when you use the Greek emotional knife to elevate your emotional state, not only you feel better now, but you also prepare yourself for the best possible journey and the fastest and easiest possible journey towards your super self and your ideal vision, which basically, as we said it here at this challenge, is the impact, income, and lifestyle that you truly love with your new digital product. See you later with the second video for today. Ciao, ciao.